Hello and welcome to the Tyrants In Training podcast. Each week on the podcast, a guest will join me to work out what they would do as the ruler of their very own country. This episode, we are speaking to Gillian. Do I have the second name right? Gillian Fritzsche? Or is
It's actually Gillian Fritzsche.
Fritzsche?
There you go.
I panic at names. But yes, thank you. We have Gillian Fritzsche, who is a writer, producer, and director. So you're joining us to set up your own country and hopefully be a benevolent, or if you want, you can be a tyrannical ruler.
I'm delighted to be here. I am also Canadian, so we'll see how nice this is.
There's already been an attack on Canada in this podcast history.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but I think it was with pillows, so you seems fine.
That seems totally legit.
Do you think you're someone who, if you were given so much power, you would gladly use it, or would you think of yourself as, no, I'll give people so much freedom to do whatever they want?
I'm a parent. I have 2 children, and so I recognize that there is need for boundaries, but there's also need for freedom within boundaries. So I kind of default towards a few very strict rules, but only a few.
Do you think you would try and portray yourself to your citizens as like a parent role, like a divine mother?
Unintentionally. I back in college, I had a friend who inexplicably told me, I see you as a matronly person, Gillian. And I was, 21 at the time. And I was like, that's not a compliment. And then 6 weeks later, he asked me out. So I think he's misunderstanding the word, but I think he meant nurturing, but he said matronly. But I think I unintentionally come across as nurturing sometimes because I do care for people. But I also have been known to be a bit of a ball buster. I really don't know what's going to happen. It's a bit of what is it? Chaotic good over here. So
yes, I do have to ask though, because it's a weird, I'm totally being sidetracked, but the guy who asked you out, but 6 weeks earlier, I assumed he would have liked you 6 weeks beforehand.
Oh yeah.
It's a weird thing of, I need to compliment this person, matron. You go, oh, you're so cool. Oh, that's obvious, but yeah, fair enough. Did you say yes or no?
No, I said no.
Okay. Yeah.
We were great friends, and that's as far as I wanted to go.
Okay, I'll have a question. I'll ask you as he allowed as well. But the first thing is, do you know where you would put your island? Because you get to pop it up from the water wherever you want.
I love that. Well, I prefer it to not go above, I don't know, let's say 80 degrees.
Right.
So definitely not around the equator. So
yes.
probably somewhere around, what is that, the 49th parallel? I kind of like the Atlantic Ocean. So I think we're going to pop it out just south of Newfoundland and east of Nova Scotia in the Atlantic.
And of course, I don't need to go to Google Images, just have a quick look and see where. I'm thinking, so is that like to the west of Greenland?
South of Greenland. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just in, yes. Okay, cool. Do you think you would have a name set up besides, Gillian Land?
Yeah. I didn't do any preparation.
No, that's the best way to do it.
Okay. What would I call this place? There's a place in Newfoundland called Rocky Harbor, and I always liked that. Ooh. And I like that because it's rugged, but also a harbor is kind of a nice place to be. It's kind of a safe, it's kind of, you get that sense of being safe in a harbor.
Yeah.
Even though it's rugged, it's rocky. So I think we'll go with Rocky Harbor, even though it's the name of an island.
Yeah, I don't think, what are they going to do, sue you? Right?
I think they'll probably just thank me for the tourism.
And I just a quick sideway, just when you said the name, I mean, I would love to try and make a script called Rocky Harbor Picture Show.
There you go.
Right? Yeah. There. No.
Small town theater, like movie theater, and the scallywags that run it. Oh gosh, that would be fun. Kind of like Mystic Pizza.
See, that's what I thought. If I just throw out this name, you already know the place, so it'll just wait a minute. Yep. I can do something with that. There you go.
Oh,
so
nice.
Rocky Harbor brackets Island. Yeah. Just so that's cool. I actually quite like the name there. That's might be my favorite so far on the series. Oh, this is the one I'm quite interested. You can call yourself anything on the island. Remember, like so far, You're the only one standing on the island on Rocky Harbour. Yeah, surveying it. You can call your official title can be whatever you want. You can just go with Queen, President. You can call yourself a hammock if you want.
Yeah. I think I just might be ironic and call myself matron.
Oh, yes.
Not mother. Not,
No.
that's a little too weird. Queen is funny. It's just too much. I don't think I'd want that. I loved to play I'm the king of the castle when I was a little kid and get up as high on the hill as I could, and be like, I'm the king of the castle. So, I would like maybe consider throwing around a couple gender neutral sort of situations there, not have to be a feminine name. But at the same time, that's really a hard one, because then I think back to matron and I'm like, that actually doesn't sound welcoming. So now I'm rethinking that.
It sounds a bit cold, do you think?
It does, yeah. And that's not what I would want to be.
And especially where the island is, it's probably going to rain a little bit. You don't want people arriving by boat and like, oh, there's the matron, and just the cold, gloomy weather mightn't.
Yeah.
Baroness or Duchess?
Gosh, Baroness.
Or Baron or Duke or.
Yeah, no, I don't like that either, because then there's like Baron. There's that connotation of Baron, even though like I know in the UK it's that has a nice connotation of like having lots of things. Oh my goodness, this is hard. What do I want to call myself? That's a challenging question. I think I have to just go with my name at first. And, I was thinking back to George Washington when, he became the first president of the United States. And the only reason why I know this is my husband is a huge history buff and he talks about it all the time. Just read a biography of George Washington. And of course, they wanted to call him His Highness. They wanted to call him all these fancy names of that were kind of like kingly references. And he was like, no, just call me Mr. That's it. Just call me Mr. So, okay, let's do that. Let's call me Mrs. That's my name. Everyone refers to me as Mrs.
So if any of your advisors, if I walk in and go, oh, we have an issue, Mrs. I'm blank, Mrs. Fritzsche?
No, just Mrs.
Just Mrs. Okay, we'll go with Mrs. Yes.
I'm the Mrs.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. I do like to try and take notes, and then I abandon trying to do that a few questions in. Now that you are Mrs. of Rocky Harbour Island,
there I am.
Are you allowing?
I'm the Mrs.
The Mrs.
The Mrs. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, is it just an Irish thing? But when you're having the old Irishman, we'll say in the pub, going, I have to get home to the Missus.
The Missus, but he's the boss. The boss is
the Missus. The Missus. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's the same thing in Newfoundland. So that's why that's when I thought it was like, oh right, no, that's the one who takes care of everybody, who's in charge of everything, and you don't cross her. So I'm the Missus.
Right. Okay, good. I like that. I usually tell anyone who's joining, their island is going to have 10 million people on it. Round number, and it's a big country without being a billion. Anyone who's joining, because you need to populate the place, anyone who's joining the country, is there any restrictions on, or is there any specifications type of people you want? Or are you just allowing, look, whoever wants to show up, let you in?
Oh, that's challenging. I think at first I would restrict by number. I would say, I don't want you all here at once. That's too much.
It's just steady flow, is it?
I think so. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't restrict anyone based on education or obviously skin color or gender, but I think that we would have to not have everybody come. 10 million? Wow.
There's plenty of room. We'll make out that there's plenty of room. You're not going to have to deal with overcrowding.
Very large island.
Yeah.
I think about, again, referencing Newfoundland where I'm from, there's only 500,000 people on the whole island, the size of Louisiana.
Yeah.
So we have lots of space there. I think we probably could fit maybe more. Maybe 2 million people, maybe 3 million, I guess, and still have enough room for people. How many do you have in Ireland?
4, about?
4 million.
About 4, yeah.
Yeah, and
I think there's less in Ireland than there is in London.
Yes. No. Well, there's 8 million in New York City. That's a lot.
10
million in Los Angeles. No, there's too many people. It's definitely got to be a bigger island than Los Angeles. Okay, but you're telling me there's enough room, but I still don't think that if they all plop in there all at once, that's a good thing. I think we need to at least do over a 10-year period, 1 million people per year.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering, so if there is a waiting list or anything, do you just say, no, look, you're all called in? It really is first come, first serve on the list?
It would be first come, first serve at the very beginning. And then I think we would probably do an annual lottery.
Oh, for like a however many, a few.
Yeah.
That'd be,
Yeah. A lottery of 1 million people each year. So it just kind of opens up, and then you kind of process people through over the course of the year.
what if, and I don't know the names, but what if, let's say, the most annoying YouTuber who is incredibly wealthy, or Twitch streamer, or any celebrity, doesn't matter. What if they said, I want to move to your island, I'll give you 2 million. Go on, let me in straight away.
No exceptions. No.
No exceptions. Okay, good.
That's that firm and hard rule.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So everyone is streaming in. They're all doing fine. Cities are being built up and everything like that. What type of house are you going to live in, or where are you going to live? What do you want to?
Yeah, I've always been more interested in having a little bit more land than a bigger house. So I'd have a sufficient home to house my family and extended family for holidays and celebrations, but not like totally huge and ostentatious. For me, I'd rather just make sure us will have like okay, this is where we get a little ostentatious. I'd love to have some horses. Yes. And plenty of fields to ride them on. So, and then maybe some hiking trails. So I guess we're looking at about 5 acres, maybe 10 acres, but the house is no more than maybe 3,000 square feet.
So you want something like near a valley, or
halfway up a hill?
Halfway up a hill. Would
halfway
that
up
be
a
near
small mountain?
Would you think you're going to do government business at your house, or are you going to go into like an office in the capital? We presume the capital is just a big high-rise building city.
Both. There has to be both. I'll have an office at home. It'll overlook the rolling hills.
Yes.
A door to the outside, that sort of thing. But also I have to be within an hour of whatever capital we develop, and I can be there within 60 minutes.
So you'll have your home just outside the city. I was going to say city walls, but the city limits, I guess. Yeah, cool. So nobody so far has picked giant mansion overlooking the whole country. Do you know, no, everyone's gone a bit, no, I'd like something kind of classy, something nice. As you now have this new country set up, there's a documentary crew coming in to film. When they come into the island, when they come to the airport, as they are driving out, they'll see a big billboard that welcomes anyone who comes to Rocky Harbour into the country. Again, I assume it'll say, welcome to Rocky Harbour. What image is going to be on the billboard, to kind of advertise, hey, you're here?
I think the first one is probably going to be all the mountains and fjords and hiking trails, and it'll probably have like a couple of diverse faces, multiple skin colors, and people that are enjoying nature. That's what we'll start with.
Would you put your own face up there as well?
No.
Would you have any blurb, any quote from you, or anything under the welcome to Rocky Harbour sign?
If my marketing team felt like that was useful, sure, but I wouldn't need to.
I mean, I'll speak on behalf of the marketing team. Some of us are saying, look, this would really kill it. You're Mrs. Everyone know you're world famous as Mrs. Google it, and it comes up your face. So I think it'd be cool. Other people are like, nah. Right.
The Mrs. says, have a good time.
The Mrs. says, have a good time. Lovely.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
That's what it says.
This is going really well. Oh, so what? Yeah, these get into more open-ended questions, I guess. What unusual list is your country, Rocky Harbour, top of in the world?
Let's say we have the most hiking trails.
The most hiking trails?
So like the longest, if you look at the miles of hiking trails, we have more miles of hiking trails than anybody else.
As in totted up the amount of miles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Add a mile up. Our number of miles of hiking, of like officially acknowledged, whatever.
I wonder, is there, I mean, I don't know this and I don't expect you to know this, but I wonder, is there professional hiking? Like, is there a sport?
I do know there's, ultra marathoning, they generally don't stay on roads. They kind of go into, they do trail running, ultra marathoning. And then there's trail running. There's trail, just like you could do like a triathlon or a marathon, you could do a trail running race.
So you could do like a Tour de France, like a Tour de Rocky Harbour.
Yes.
Right?
Totally. That would be, so we would host an annual Tour de Rocky Harbour trail running competition, and it would be probably Ironman length. And we would have swimming on the coast, and then you'd go through the trails for the running part, and then a loop around the whole island for the biking part. There you
Are
go.
you taking part, or like the day before you do, like a celebrity one, but you lead them off, or it would look
Yeah,
good?
I think I'd take part a couple times. That sounds
Mm.
like a lot of fun. And sufficient. I mean, hopefully, I'd have enough resources that I can have someone train me and get into the kind of. I have done a triathlon personally, and I've done 2 half marathons and a full marathon. That was 10 years ago, before I had babies. But yeah, I think I'd want to.
I,
Maybe
I'm
not
just,
every year.
I'm just thinking, you're 95 years old, you're still raining, and you're being convinced, go on
Ooh,
out there, do a mile. You can
go
do
on.
it. It'll look great, and everyone will be applauding. Maybe not a
Yeah,
mile.
no.
That's
At
yeah.
at 95, I think there would be, like, I don't know if you know CrossFit. CrossFit has the master's level sort of
Oh,
competitions. So anyone above 45 tends to do like a slightly scaled back version
mm,
of the exercises that all the youngins are doing. So I think there would be a master's level distance.
yes.
So I could get out
That
and
you
I could
could.
swim, but not the same distance as everybody else.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I'm 95, that's probably going to happen before everybody else goes. So they're also
Right.
inspired by me doing it.
Yeah. Oh, just you even setting off like through the whatever they call it, the starting.
There you go.
That's
I'll
the
do
start
the
of the end.
pistol.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have a bit of bad news just to update you on.
Oh
So
no.
we did the tour to Rocky Harbour, but when we came back into the office, we found out that just go with it. It's a bit weird. There is a scandal involving you after reaching the newspapers and everything.
Oh no.
Citizens
What
aren't really
happened?
happy. I don't know how this works, but for some reason you get to pick the scandal. So what scandal would you be involved in that people find out about? Again, I'll just mention this is, a light entertainment podcast. Just, doesn't have to be a major thing. Doesn't have to be
Family
embezzling from
friendly.
an orphanage.
What kind of scandal would I have been involved in? Gosh, you know, I'm gonna be totally like, what's it called when you humble brag? Okay, so this is what this is the scandal. I would have given state money to someone that was probably down and out,
Right.
and I would have thought it made sense at the time because they needed help, but I didn't go through the proper channels.
So when you say you give them money, do you mean here's a average yearly wage, or here's 5 million, 10 million, like you are wealthy beyond belief now?
I maybe gave like an annual salary to somebody just to help them get off their feet,
Oh,
or a
okay.
family or somebody like that who was like
Yeah.
they didn't. And I didn't I felt it was a worthy cause, but I didn't go through the proper channels because they needed it quickly, or I just didn't feel like doing the red tape. So I gave away state money and didn't follow the protocol. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely came out in the newspapers as like
Yeah.
this was
I'm playing favorites. Oh man.
what do they call it? A secret lover, or this is they definitely. Why else you pay? This is your
Oh gosh.
other people said drug dealer, other people said satanic priest worshiper, just all sort of
Wow.
rumors spreading around about
Am
whoever
I
this
still
is.
95 or is this
Oh no,
back
we're
early?
going back. No.
We're
Listen,
going
you
back
won't
in
even
time.
this scandal. You won't even reach it to 95 in power with the way this scandal is blown up.
Oh boy. Okay. All
So
right.
you do
Because I was saying, if I
agree.
have a secret lover at 95, I don't think there's anything to be too worried about.
So with this scandal brewing, your advisors are suggesting heavily that you go on to the biggest TV show in your country to explain yourself, right? The sit down interview where you have, I don't know what's his name, Anderson Cooper sitting in front of you saying, and this scandal, can you explain your own words why you did it? So what I want to know is, what lame, easily see-through political reason do you give for this scandal?
Oh, we were, doing a proof of concept on some ideas behind helping people who are down and out, and we just really wanted to see, is this going to help them? And we didn't want to go through the red tape because that would have like slowed down the process. But we really wanted to see, is there a way that we can help people who don't have as much as other people? So we were working through that idea of maybe like some sort of lottery with wages, where people aren't able to work for a year, and just trying to test that case. So that's what happened. I just, I wasn't, didn't think through all the things that should have been done, but this is what we were trying to do.
Okay, so sorry, forgive me, Mrs. But I mean, the person you gave that money to has been going on for 6 years now. I mean, when were you planning on reaching the end of your?
Yeah, that's a very good question. You know, I had only intended
He
it to
bought a
last
casino
for
with the
1
money.
year.
He bought a
Yeah,
casino.
well, you have to admit that that's a pretty sound investment.
I mean, he half funded it with the Canadian mafia.
Yeah.
Any
Well, you know,
answers?
I can't. That's you know, that's the freedom that he has to do with the money that he's been given. Unfortunately, I you know, acknowledge that sort of that money was given inappropriately. You know, as best I can, I'm working with my staff to look back and see if there's ways in which we can not sort of back trail the paperwork, but just look at how we can look at this and make it make sense on the books of the country. And so, you know, we're doing our best to
Are you planning on expanding it?
Expanding the giving and to other people.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're doing studies right now to see how effective it was. And it was
on one person.
On one person and his family, very important family. You know, who my husband knows and who my husband loves, and we, you know, it's not that sort of thing. But yeah.
So your husband had a friendship with the person beforehand,
yes,
and that's how you picked. Oh.
Well, I mean, people might think that's a little bit
Nepotism?
strange that it wasn't just a random person, but we knew that there was a person of character behind that need, and so you know, these sorts of things are the ways, you know, people are selected by. In some cases, it's a merit situation. In some cases, it's a lottery situation. And so we're doing our best to figure out how to process this sort of idea going forward.
I think at this point, the interviewer, maybe frustratingly for some viewers, will go, okay, I'll move on. So your next tour to Rocky Harbour, meanwhile, one of your advisors off screen doing the stop mentioning your husband being friends. But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not sure if that scandal is going to quite go away. But
yeah,
just have to move on, don't you? So are you planning on going back to your office now or going back home?
After this interview?
After the interview, yeah.
I think I'd head to the office and discuss the ramifications of everything I accidentally said.
Well, to be honest, when you get back to the office, it's a bit pandemonium with red lights going off, and they're saying, oh, no. Mrs., we have more bad news on the international front. Turns out World War III broke out. Yeah, the UN said the only way we're going to get through World War III is if every country in the world goes to war with another country, declares war on another country. So we need you, Mrs., to stand up in front of everyone on TV and say, we're going to war with whatever country you choose, and maybe explain why.
And I don't have an out here. I have to pick a country.
Yeah. UN are very, very insistent on that. Again, light entertainment podcast.
Yeah, I don't have to listen to the UN though, right?
Hey, if you want to go to war with if you want to go to war with the UN, I will tell the generals, fine.
Okay, so then we can treat the UN like a country. Lovely.
Am I recording that part or no? I haven't. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I have to be morbidly glad that there's a huge crisis that's taking attention away from the guffaw that I just did. That's great. Yeah. Okay, World War III, and who do we you know what? Does it have to be a whole country, or can it be part of a country? Can I declare war on St. Pierre and Miquelon?
They sound like people to me, but if I assume they're a region.
St. Pierre and Miquelon are two little French islands just south of Newfoundland.
Okay.
They're owned by France, and
yes.
They have, I think they've got some. They fish there, but they've also got some goods from France that Newfoundland always tries to trade with them, and it's a little bit challenging. So I think we'll declare war on them because they need to share better.
Right, and that's how you're going to. Now they belong to France, or France has domain over them, or however you would say it.
Colony of France, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't suspect France might. So technically you're going to war with France though. I mean, France are probably going to be like, hey, unless, I mean, are you going to be talking to the French Prime Minister or the President saying,
yes, and what I will do is I will keep trying to speak French to the French Prime Minister, even though he'll keep trying to speak English back to me because I don't speak very wonderful French. But I'll keep doing it just to poke him a little bit.
So you're going to poke him, but also say, listen, we're not going to war with you. We're going to war with just these two little islands.
Yeah. Yes.
Mixed messaging in that one.
Oh, I think, yeah, that's a very good point. But I think that like generally when I do things like that, it comes across as playful. So I'm kind of hoping that
Okay.
the
Yes.
teasing a little bit is what kind of dissipates the
Mm.
anxiety there. And maybe I could actually get him to, when I go to war with St. Pierre and Miquelon, is because I want them to share more, but also what if I just like co-opt them into my country and I can just be like,
Oh,
hey, I'll take them off your hands.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And because I was going to say, I mean, you do give them an easy out then, I imagine. If you're going to war with them and you say, but if you share more, might go easy on you after a while. But if you want to just co-opt them as well, yeah, we can
Yeah.
play it out like that. So as that war is going well, I've told all the generals they're sorting stuff out. Just need to know what seemingly mundane thing is banned in your country. What I mean is, if you chose bicycles are banned, I don't like them. Glitter is banned, I don't like it.
Glitter, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, really?
No,
Oh, okay. There.
no glitter, no decorative plastic at all, because all decorative plastic gets into the ocean, gets into our fish, and then we eat
Yes.
it, and we're all becoming made of plastic. So
Right.
yeah, no glitter, no glitter glue. None of that stuff you put all over the bushes and stuff at Halloween to make it look like spider webs. None of that.
Yes, yes.
None of the face washes that have little plastic beads in them.
Mm.
All of that is not in my country.
So you won't have on your Christmas tree any tinsel or anything like that?
No tinsel. When I was a kid, we had tinsel on our tree for probably a good 5-10 years. And my mother switched to like beads and berries and stuff.
And I know when me and my fiance started living together the first Christmas, I went, oh, we need to get tinsel, and she nearly bit my head off, saying, no way, that's the worst thing you could put on. No,
Yes.
not happening.
Fist bump to your fiance.
So yeah, I quite like that band. I'd agree with that. Your very own Fox News is playing.
Like the CBC?
No, I'm trying to think of basically a news station that is very pro misses, and
all right, okay,
they are running propaganda for you every day, how great you are and everything. What fantastical fact about you? Basically, what made up bull do you want your news station to tell everyone about you? And they'll run this every night so that people will start to believe it.
Goodness, what do I want people to believe about me that might not be true? Or it might be true. Gosh, that's a hard one. I think I would like everyone to know or believe that I have magical healing powers.
Like
I don't
a
know
matron.
where. Like a matron. Yeah, isn't that weird? Actually, my husband is reading through Lord of the Rings right now with our kids.
Yes.
And so I'm just thinking of Aragorn, and when he comes back from the Valley of the Dead and he brings in the what's that herb, the King's Willow or whatever the heck it's called.
Oh yeah, it's something. It's King's
Wisp, some herb, and he's able to bring these.
So do you think you'd go with that sort of, bring Mrs. a couple of herbs and she'll do up a great tonic for a sore throat?
You know, I think instead of it being on my personal CBC, you know, the government news channel, I think that I would love it to be more of a rumor that gets spread by little instigators throughout the country, so that it's something that people think is true because it's a rumor, you know?
Yeah.
True. So I wouldn't like blatantly blast it every night. I would just like let that spread, that people believe I have magical healing powers, and so that's a rumor.
Would you think though, if that rumor is spreading around, would you want your CBC, your government news station, would you want them to do like a prime time hour special on this rumor, acting as if, we're just investigating it, but of course they're planting it into more minds? This is a rumor that could be true.
We're not saying she hasn't.
No, it didn't come from us.
She has, but we're not saying she hasn't.
Yeah.
It might be a fun thing to put out at some point, just to perpetuate and just like make it look like, of course that's not true. I mean, that's so silly that everybody believes that, right?
But where did it come from? We have, and that's thing your news station can say, well, we didn't push this. Everyone was talking about it, so we had to put it on. You can do that.
It was pop culture.
If as one of your advisors, if I could submit a title for this program, you could even call it Mrs. Dash, is she the Mrs. Saya,
Oh, wow.
right? You can get a pun into it, which
Oh
I'll
my
often
goodness.
try.
Love it.
Yeah, that's going to win whatever film award you set up on Rocky Harbour.
Yeah. And I'll be the one to hand it out.
There's a bit of good news coming your way, because I know a few
lovely.
questions were bad news. It is your birthday coming up on the island. So what celebrations do you want organized for the people to celebrate you or the island on your birthday?
Yeah, I would definitely rather people celebrate the birth of the nation. I'm sorry, that was a very bad phrase to use.
A little bit bad, but I can edit that. Yeah.
Thank you. No, it's fine. It's okay that we acknowledge that
There's
was
another scandal coming.
No, that was yeah, sorry. But yeah, the start of the country.
Yes.
I think that's a little bit more of a joyous occasion than my birthday. Although I think on my birthday, it would be fun if everyone gets the day off and gets to barbecue. That's neat. But I think, we just go that far. And then on the day that the country started, that we celebrate that, we can also throw off some fireworks and we get the day off. And we, there's a tradition that everyone will have a hot toddy.
Right.
That's and a slice of chocolate cake.
Oh, and so you're
that's
supplying the chocolate cake.
I'll share my favorite recipe, but I don't think it's good for the economy if I supply the chocolate cake. I think that that's my personal favorite recipe. There could be like chocolate cake recipe contests and that sort of idea, but it's more of a tradition, and it's good for the economy, for people to go out and buy those goods and services and make the chocolate cake with their children and share that tradition with their children and that sort of idea.
And I think between the Rocky Harbour Trek competition, the Tour de Rocky Harbour, and this birthday fireworks, the country's birthday fireworks and chocolate festival, I mean, a lot of people are going to show up. Ireland isn't that far away. I could easily show up, fly over, and just
I'll host you at my modest home in the hills.
Yes, overlooking the capital on horseback.
And then the rolling hills where the horses roam.
Yeah. I don't know if have you ever seen the photo of, what's the guy's name in North Korea? Kim Jong-un.
Yes.
Every so often you might see a photo of him at a factory for tile floors or whatever. And they'll say under it, here's our leader telling everyone how to make tiles even better. And stuff like that. It's just a photo op to show how great he is. Putin will be bare-chested on a horse going, look at him, he's looking great.
Yes.
For yourself, the scandal didn't really go away, if I'm honest. So we just need a bit of a boost. So we need a photo op. What would your photo op be to make it look like you're still in command?
I think that I would be I would do a tour of shoemaking factories.
Really?
Yes, and I especially the ones that are owned and operated by women.
Yes.
And I would host some sort of consortium with these women who own and operate shoemaking factories, where they can share best practices and help each other do better business practices and be more efficient at making shoes, especially shoes that are used for the Tour de Rocky Harbour, athletic shoes.
Yes.
Anything like that. So I think that's what I would do, some sort of factory tour and conference.
There's a bit of an issue we've got from that. It's not a big deal, right? I'm sure you'll be able to handle it. It's a bit annoying more than worrying. That was all good. We got lovely pictures of it. The M.M.A, the Manly Men Association, have kicked up a fuss because they said, oh, why is she visiting all women-led shoe factories or, stuff like that. So now they're trying to protest the country. Yeah, they keep trying to interrupt treks and stuff like that. They're saying, we demand more men. They are also demanding a more festive Men Day of the Year. They say, how come we never hear about Men Day of the Year? So they're going full on. Men are the most oppressed people in the world, damn it. And they're extra annoyed because if you type in M.M.A, it never comes up Manly Men Association. So certainly
not. No, all they get when they type in M.M.A is pictures of really buff looking female athletes. And so anyway, at least in my country.
Yes.
I think my snide remark to that I make off the cuff while I'm walking from the Capitol to my car, that my staff will say to me afterwards, you shouldn't have said that, will be, these men should just go back to work.
Okay, so I'm just going to pretend I'm one of the journalists following you to the car, like a lot of noise and stuff. And he's like, yes, Jim Beardface said that we've spent too much time with a missus. We should have a Mr. in charge of the country. What do you say to that? You're going with he should get back to work.
Yeah, you should get back to work. He's working. We're all working. We're working to make this country a better place. And right now, you are not contributing to that.
He has posted on Twitter he would get back to work, but a obviously less qualified woman got the job instead of him because she had more training, which is completely wrong. And he's even more angry about it. And then he has like hashtag Mr. for Rocky Harbour. Anything to that? I mean, he's still going around. Are you trying to silence him, or are you letting him on TV?
Yeah, no, I'll let people have their say. They're allowed to say what they feel about how the country's being run and what's going on. And we definitely have freedom of speech in this country. So
right.
People can complain, and that's okay. But complaining doesn't actually do much. It's if you're wanting to put to make advancement in the place where you work, you should put feet to the ground, put hands to the plow, and put your time where your mouth is, and make the changes you want to see.
By the way, I was just going to ask, do you remember that scandal giving that person loads of money? Was that a man or a woman?
Oh, that was a man. He needed some help.
For some reason, he's come out with that Mr. Jim, what do I call him, beard face. They're sitting down now. Strangely enough, that guy you gave money to has like a lot of fresh new bling on him, as if he's suddenly got a lot more money handed to him. But he's saying, well, yes, Mrs. is terrible what she's done to this country, giving one person a load of money. Terrible. Yeah.
It's unfortunate that he's so ill-informed, because, after we gave him some money, his family some money, because his wife was unable to work for a short period of time, and he was
which he criticized her for, and Mr. Jim, they're criticizing her for that.
Yeah. We actually did do studies on that program, and we felt that it was a valuable program. And through a sort of application and lottery process, there were other people in the country who received annual living wages for a short period of time that helped them get back on their feet. And so it is something that actually we have been using in this country for a while to help even the playing field for people.
Right. By the way, he is going to make the snide remark, oh, did you and your husband know all of those people too? And they all laugh it up with hashtags and stuff. It's a bit annoying.
It's a fair comment. That's definitely a fair comment.
Yeah, I can get our guys to keep an eye on it, but it's just annoying. I never asked, are you going to have elections for I'm going to say you have a Senate, if you want to take this option, of 100 senators, okay? Because after all, you're the ruler at the end of the day. So you can have a Senate that gets elected with 100 people inside it, or do you want to you are going to pick your advisors and that's it? There's no elections.
What I think I'd like to have is regional nominations that are very, clearly articulated with lots of documents, and I'll have my advisory board. And at this time, I don't think I can recall whether that advisory board was selected by me or if they were also nominated. But in terms of where we're at right now, we have regional nominations for people who are in charge of each of those regions in the country, and each of those provinces. And so we'll take in, actually, I'd say an unlimited number of nominations, whether it's 1,000 or 10. We'll fairly, look at everyone who's nominated, and use the selection committee to choose one of the nominated people. So it's kind of a hybrid process.
Okay, so what happens, if I have it right, is if you're in a region, you can have elections to nominate however many people, let's say 10,
however many,
and then those 10 get sent up to you and your advisors, and then you kind of say, well, no, only 2 of these people are qualified. They're allowed off to actually represent that region.
Yeah, if two's the right number, or 5's the right number, if 1 is the right number, depending on the population in the region, I would say that's a reasonable way of looking at it. And I think that the term limits would probably be, you can serve 4 years, and you can probably do 2 to 3 terms, depending on how things are going in that region, specifically related to things like economy, quality of life, and income.
Oh, so it'd be a bit like performance based. If it's doing really well, okay, you qualified for an extra term, but if it's not working, you're out the door. Cool. Yeah. You said about having terms, because I remember a former Irish Prime Minister, I remember reading something where it said, now this guy had been in politics since 1980, and this was 2015, so it was 35 years. And I remember reading it, the newspaper or something, and he said, and it started off by saying, you know, former teacher, high school teacher, I suppose, in Canada or something, former high school teacher, the prime minister, blah, blah. And I was just thinking, it turned out like he was a teacher for 2 years and then had been a politician for 42 years. And I was like, no, you can't call, at that point, you can't be a teacher, surely, right? No.
Yeah, I mean, you were a teacher for 2 years.
A bit,
and so technically that is a former teacher. But when is it appropriate to use that phrase? Yeah.
That's like me saying, you know, and hey, I'm still young enough, but still saying Kevin's a teenage heartthrob. Like, no, he's gone from that. No.
Everyone's a former baby.
Yeah.
Former baby, now prime minister.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything?
So yeah, definitely I think people in general would be happy with the whole term limits. I imagine who isn't happy with, right?
The only way I can see that being a challenge with term limits is when you find someone who's really good. And that's why I would say you get the extra 4 years there if you're doing a really good job. Because what happens sometimes is that you've got people who don't know what they're doing who are nominated, and they're not going to do as efficient of a job, even though they're great people, as the person who's been there 8 years. Because they've learned some things about how things are run. They're starting to get actually good at the job. And so that would be the only challenge I would see is some people, you know, end up in that position and actually pretty good at running things.
You may have another challenge though. I'm going to say that just from my own ease, that all these people who you've selected have now gone into a Senate, just an office building where they're all working on their different regions, whatever. Okay. We got news. By the way, I'm assuming you have St. Pierre and Michelin. That's been taken over. Miquelon. Yeah. The other bad news though for it is that like half of the Senate, the guys, they actually were planning a coup attempt. They were getting rid of it. The scandal guy and Mr. Jim Beardface really spoke to them. So yeah, they tried to get rid of you. Mrs. out the country. We've caught half of them. I'm just going to use a round number of saying half the Senate, 50 senators were caught. What do you want to do with them? I mean, you're the boss.
Well, there's an estate I have about 4 hours outside of the city that I often like to go to, and I'm going to take all of them with me and some security. Yes. Yeah, and we're going to go out
dead of night.
I mean, I don't care whether it's daytime or nighttime.
Right, dead of night, hoods on, right?
No, it's not dead of night. It's daytime. Okay. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna have a week, and it's gonna be funded. And I think I'll fund it with actually my personal stash, my personal money that I've made on the market that I've made. And I'm gonna take them out there, and I'm gonna sit them down, and I'm gonna say, talk, and I'm just gonna listen for a week.
Right. Okay, so their demands are, we want you out of the country. No negotiations. You just need to be out of the country. Just too long, women have lorded over men and told them what to do. And we're sick of the misses. There's a missus in the house. There's a missus in the office. There's a missus. They are gone.
That's fine. If that's what they want to say for a week and that's all they have to say, then I'll listen to that for a week, and then I will fire them from their jobs and send them home. But
okay, so send them home to their regions.
Yeah, well, wherever their home is. Yeah.
Okay, so they may kind of angry, ignorant men with no jobs and nothing to do during the day may get together and go, let's just keep doing what we were planning to do. So you might have a rebellion bubbling up there.
Sure. Yeah. Interesting.
We're keeping tabs on them. Do you want us to do anything with them, or
just give me a weekly report, see what's going on with those guys?
They've kidnapped people.
If they start to cause violence or they start to cause injury to people, then we need to deal with that in appropriate ways. But
it turns out, this all happened within a week since the last report. They've blown up 74 shoe factories. This is a fun podcast. Nobody's been hurt, so that's fine. Just some buildings. But
no one was there. They was all at night.
No one was
there.
There was
rubber all over the place, but yeah,
the place was closed. So yeah.
Gosh.
Anything I mean, they're on camera. They seem pretty confident that nothing's going to happen to them. So.
Yeah, well, they've broken some laws. So, general laws about not hurting other people. So,
Right,
and
right.
not causing damage to property.
Yes.
I'm sure there was a bit of breaking and entering. So we'll prosecute them according to the reasonable extent of the law.
They ask in court, should the people who funded buying the bombs and everything, should they be prosecuted?
I'll leave that up to my legal advisors to speak to that. We're going to look at how our laws are structured and whether we have structured that, and something to be discussed in future iterations of the laws of our country. Right.
So your what's the name of your top legal advisor?
Sorry. The first name that popped into my head was Judge Judy.
Okay, I'm definitely not doing an accent, but Judy has shown up going, hey, Mrs.
Yes,
I'm not really sure. Sorry, am I going with Judy? Hi. Yeah. I'm not really sure what to do. I mean, on the one hand, people are funding them to buy all this gear. Mm-hmm. So do I send them to jail as well?
Well, if we have proof that they were coordinating, if they were in cahoots together, if we can prove that, and but otherwise, transfer of money is not really something that we can be too upset about.
Right.
So we'll do what we can prove. We'll prosecute what we can prove.
The people who sold them the bombs, they're also being prosecuted, though, right?
Goodness, if they knew, how do we prove what they knew? I don't know what they knew.
Okay. I don't know if you can tell where I'm trying to go with this. Basically, what happened in court. Sorry, we didn't know. Judy just ran back from the courtroom. One of the guys who was actually turned out to be the person that you gave all that money to, he used all that money to buy all the bombs. So he is now claiming, or his lawyers are claiming, that you are partly responsible. They're really digging into this scandal of yours. They're saying that you funding him and then cutting him off when the scandal broke out caused it. Therefore, you're partly responsible.
Heartbroken over this, totally.
And they're saying the only reason why you won't prosecute people who funded terrorism, or it is terrorism, is because it would involve you. So yeah, there's drama llama happening.
That's hard, man. Gosh, I'm totally in a loop. I don't know what to say. Truly, that's baffling.
John, I have another note here. Yeah, I got into like a legal quandary in this. I can open up another thing just to get to. You can come back to that.
Yeah, sure.
Good news. We have good news, but important news from your accountant. Turns out we have a lot of money. The country, all this tour to Rocky Harbour is really taken off. So everyone really wants to build a big giant statue of you. I mean, we need to find out what the statue is going to be. So what pose or what moment from your life do you want us to build, to reenact? I mean, it can be anything.
Sure. I think that I'd prefer not to have a statue, but if you I prefer to build something else with that money. But if we
can build something, and we can just name it after you. Like, it doesn't have to be your giant face if you don't want it. I mean, you're the missus at the end of the day.
There you go. I think if I was chosen, that if you say no, you have to choose something, we want to build you a statue, I would probably build a statue of me walking with my children on a trail.
Oh, lovely. Yes. I mean, this is going to be probably
holding their
hands. Giant 50-foot.
Oh, no, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Just like, I'm thinking like Walt Disney with Mickey Mouse at Disney World. Okay. Like this, we don't need anything bigger than that. And it's just me with my children at a trailhead of one of my favorite trails. That's where I would do that. But if we could avoid building that at all, I would rather build some sort of amphitheater in a lovely area where public discourse can happen, and that people can come easily and share ideas and have open mic nights or whatever. I don't know.
like the old Roman amphitheaters type of yes, and then just name it after. Would you name it after your name, Gillian, or Mrs., like the Mrs. Theatre?
I probably put my actual name on that one.
Yeah, I forget what your billboard was quoting. The Mrs. says have a good time. Would you have that again, as if that's your slogan?
For that one, I think the slogan would be the Mrs. says have a good talk.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Yeah, I've completely forgotten about the court now. Everyone's really happy about that. I'm sorry, but hey, ruling a country is hard. I actually have bad news. So got word from the accountant. Paul is the guy who does the books. He actually added up wrong. He thought we had money, but he forgot there was a minus sign in front of it. So the country is actually broke. The IMF are ringing up, telling us if you don't get money fast, or if you don't have a plan to get money fast, we're going to have to come in and take over the country and start running the finances. We have no ideas. Judy has left. She's jumped into the ocean. I mean, she's going for a swim. She'll be back later, but she's not working today. Any ideas how we're going to get money? We need a lot of money quick.
A lot of money quick. Well, I know there are other countries that like to loan money to some countries. So that is, I think, probably one of the first options that will be presented to me.
France?
And what's that?
France?
Go to France?
No, you wouldn't try that trick again?
Well, they might like appreciate the opportunity to rub it in my face, and I won't mind to get some cash if we need the cash real quick. So that would be something I would consider. I'd also look at are there ways in which we're not exploiting our natural resources as well as we can? Do we have as many farmers as we need? Do we have as many fishermen as we need? We're right close to the Grand Banks. We could be fishing, so
we could say there's that's
I mean, not quick money, so.
When you say, do we have as many fishermen as we could have? Do you mean if I was to say, oh no, I mean, surprisingly, it's not really a big business in Rocky Harbour, but yeah. Would you put in a law that basically you have to be a fisherman? Or
no? So I don't want to take choice away from people, but I would offer incentives for any farmers, whether they're sheep farmers or wheat farmers or grain farmers, veggie farmers. I would offer incentives for fishermen, offer incentives perhaps also for anyone who was providing any
like exports or
that sort of thing. Okay. So incentives for those sorts of more work with your hands jobs.
To be honest, a lot of people aren't really going for it because they rather the free money program.
Yeah.
I don't know what we call that in the end, but yeah, the free money program. So are we continuing that, or are we scaling that back? Or
well, certainly we have to. If there's no money to give, we can't continue that, and people are going to have to work. If there are people who can't work, we do have programs where we can share our resources and people can move in together. That sort of idea. Yeah.
I mean, with there's a undercurrent of unrest because of and now she's cutting the money, and maybe the guy who got loads of money was right, Mr. But
yeah,
again, I'll keep an eye on it. I do actually have 3 more questions than we're scaring. This is definitely the longest someone has gone without resorting to throw him into the fire or anything like that. So
I can't, it's not my nature.
Yeah. Do you know, and this is just a general question here, you've heard of the Eurovision?
Yes.
So do you know anything about the Eurovision?
No, but I'm Googling it right now.
There's a movie recently with, Will Ferrell is one. I forget who the other one was, but it was quite good. It's a song contest they have in Europe. Australia take part now. Very fun.
That's why I've heard of it. It's in the film.
It is very, I would encourage what me and Celine do is we usually sit down and we write out a sheet as if we're the judges, start judging every performance, and it's just a lot of fun. Drink through it and you're fine. Lovely. Anyway, Rocky Harbour has been invited to take part in the Eurovision. Awesome. So now that your country's taken part, we've got our singers, got everything like that. We just want to ask Mrs., unless you want to take part yourself.
Oh, no, thank you.
No? Okay. What would be the name of our song?
The name of our song that we put in the Eurovision Song Contest. Having a Time.
Having a Time.
Yeah. Newfoundland will be a little bit upset with me, but they'll get over it.
Why is that their slogan?
Let's just say, in Newfoundland, that's basically a party is called a time. Go have a time or having a time.
Oh, okay. Yes. So this would be really upbeat, right? You were going in with, you're showing up at Eurovision with just all spectacle and good vibes.
Celebratory, joyful, glad to be together. I know that there's been some unrest in our country, but really at the end of the day, we really just enjoy being together, enjoying the nature that we have in our country. And that's what we want to kind of focus on.
So in the Eurovision, everyone sings their song. And at the end of it, then every country votes. They vote and they allocate points to the best, right? So you usually, I think you go from 1 point up to 12 points, the maximum. Would you give France any points, or is there a country never give them any points?
Oh gosh, well, it makes me think. of Newfoundland and Canada. And, Newfoundland didn't join Canada until 1949.
Right.
On April 1st, 1949.
I'd make sure they officially joined. That might have been a joke that they haven't.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
The vote happened, I think, March 31st, but the official joining was April 1st. So and before that, they were a self-governing colony of Britain. And when I was growing up, in the 80s and 90s, there was a huge kind of resurgence of, why are we part of Canada? And all of these 30-somethings were like, we want to leave Canada. We want to be our own country again. And of course, all of the 60s and 70s gray hairs were like, we were starving. People were dying. It was valuable to join the country of Canada. But it's funny, that whole sentiment of Newfoundlanders would be like, we don't give Canada anything. And Canada's like, oh, here, Newfoundland, here, have some points.
Yeah.
Okay, so who would we give some points to? I think, since they gave us St. Pierre and Miquelon, and we worked through that whole situation, and everybody's happy now, we'd give France 6 or 7 points. And
even when they don't give you anything, they're like,
it's fine.
Typical France. Yeah.
Just
what can you do?
But,
I said I had 3 questions. I'm going to switch out one because I forgot to ask this one. I'm going to assume you don't actually have a personal grudge against the French leader or the president, right?
The missus doesn't have a grudge, or
the missus, or as Gillian and the missus doesn't actually have a grudge. So I won't use.
My only grudge against France is that I've never been there.
So World War III, do you understand its ending? Right, we're finishing World War III. Good job, everyone. But the only way we can end it is if you want to think of anyone, any political leader, ex-political leader, just anyone in general who you dislike, like as if they are a dictator in the world, a really bad president, anyone like that, right? They have to fly into your country for, the what do they call it? Just like, when you have 2 leaders stand up in front of a podium and they say, our 2 countries are going to work really well. Yeah. Or in America, they kind of sit down in the Oval Office, don't they? And that person, I'm just going to say person, comes to your island, you have to play nice with them. Like, you have to be, you can't point out that they're horrible, that they are brutal dictators or anything like that. I mean, what are you going to kind of say when the journalists ask you, Mrs., I'm from the Irish Daily News, why are ye 2 meeting? Are you now allies?
When a little kid pushes you down on the playground, and you're hurt, you've probably skinned your knee or something like that, you generally want to go push them as well. And fair play, they hurt you, you hurt them, but your mother's going to teach you that it's not always wise, because if you escalate, they'll escalate back again. And so even though there are people that will go around pushing others down on the playground, we have to sometimes show them forgiveness and move along and show them how the proper way to be is. And so we're going to do our best to be good little friends in the playground, to be good neighbors to other people in the world, other countries in the world, and do our best to lead by example. Even though we're not always perfect, sometimes we're flawed, but we're going to show some forgiveness and some empathy today.
Hello, sorry, can I ask a question? I'm just assuming there's
Trent
different.
Krim, the Independent.
Oh no, I'm actually Billy Billyson from the Manly Men Network.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
My favorite.
So are you saying that you are a little kid on the playground getting bullied by a much bigger kid, and now you're claiming that you are going to make friends even though he's clearly pushed you onto the ground already? Are you not looking weaker in that relationship?
And Billy, I would say to you, that's a very typical male view. And that's the reason why we need female leaders in this world, because females know that it's not always about being the biggest and the strongest. It's sometimes about having the biggest heart.
Oh, sorry, I'll just get another question there.
All right, follow up. Go ahead, Billy.
Oh, no, I'm going to hand it over to Martin. Sorry, I shouldn't have said follow up.
Right.
Martin Jawline, Judy's ex-husband, and also Manly Men podcast. Don't like Judy anymore. So what the hell? Why do you agree with oh no, wait, I'll actually change questions. So this person who you're standing beside, who's grinning at you answering these questions, he met with the person you gave all the money to and said he'd be a great leader. Do you have any problem with that?
I don't agree with him, and he's allowed to say what he needs to say. There's no way that is going to actually hold water in terms of what's actually going to happen in this country, but it's fine for him to have that opinion.
and just off screen, when your advisor's just going, that guy is smirking so much as you're answering, going, he's allowed to have his opinion. Like, he is just, he's an ass. He is a complete ass. Are you just, nope, I'm not biting to it. Okay, I'm going to really try and poke this. And I hope people don't think I'm actually thinking this. But I'm going to say that the person is going to go, well, look, as Mrs. Gillian has pointed out, when a little woman is being pushed, kept on the dirt, sometimes kept in the dirt, in the mud, sometimes, she learns and she accepts that a man is the best. I'm so sorry. So yeah, I think we're all good. As long as she knows her place, it's all good. I'm so sorry. I don't know you at all well enough to be talking like this.
This is not at all how I anticipated the conversation.
I'm so sorry. This would have been so much easier if you had just killed the traitors immediately.
Why am I so nice? No, that's fine. He can have that opinion. He's wrong, but he's allowed to say what he wants to say.
Okay, so okay. Conference is over. Yay! Okay, thank God. He gets back on his plane. Before he goes, he just turns around. I don't know. I presume you have to see him off, right? Like, oh yeah, bye.
I think once we're out of the public eye, we can go our separate ways. But that last little moment before we're out of the public eye.
Oh yeah, he's just climbing up the steps to his plane. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you're there, or are you just going, no?
Sure. I'm there seeing him off. Sure. Yeah.
He just turns around and is like, keep at it, man. And he gives you one of these before he goes and runs in.
I'll blow him a kiss.
Okay. Do you edit out that image of him doing that on your news station?
Not at all.
Middle finger, I was going to say.
Nope. People might can own his actions.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, he is on Twitter and on TikTok of all things, really giving it. Yeah, I'll do it again. And he's selling T-shirts of like his middle finger. One of those people. Just.
Yeah. Well, good for him for making some money.
Celine is going to ask me when I've stopped recording. So how did it go? Pretty well. Ooh, did she kill anyone? No, I immediately went sexist, which is really, really alarming. So I hope that's not a common theme throughout this series of episodes. Anywho, the last question, thankfully, is you've gone to 95 years of age and you ran the tour to Rocky Harbour. At a certain point, you decide you're going to step down, right? It's time for someone to lead the country. So and all you have to do is you can pick anyone you want. It just has to be someone who's actually alive. Like, I can't say my grandson because I don't have one. But when you decide to retire and you call your citizens over to either your office or your house, there's big news. You have to tell everyone, who do you announce as your heir? And what do you say to your citizens to let them know everything will be fine?
It would be a lot of thought and discussion gone into, is it someone who's related to me or is it someone that I designate? And I don't think it necessarily has to be one or the other.
Right.
I would hope that my own children and their own children kind of follow in my footsteps in terms of the perspectives I have on how to run a country and how to treat people and where to allocate resources, that sort of idea.
Yes.
But I think that, I would say that I wouldn't be opposed to election.
Go democracy.
Yeah. Having done what I can do, I think that one of my last bit of work would be to set up a means by which there can be the ongoing perpetuation of the themes and ideals and forward progress that we've set up in our country, that we can how can we maintain that? How can people going forward continue to have a goal of enjoying time together and also working with their hands and not stepping on people who are smaller or different. So how can we find that right person? I would think that if we were doing a good job with our nomination and selection process, that perhaps we continue to, we just bump that up to a larger scale and have a nomination and selection process for a new leader.
Are you going to stay on until that leader is found, or are you going to let are you going to leave and say, right, advisors, you know what to do, make sure you select the right one, or will you select them and then leave?
I think it's going to depend on my health. If I want
to
keep
you're fine. You're great.
All right, if I'm fine, I'm staying until I'm dead, and then you can. But we'll have someone selected for the unfortunate day that I pass. Yeah, no, I'd probably keep working.
There was a thing, because I know you said about your husband being big into history, because I'm big into Roman history. And one of the things I just think is really interesting and fascinating is how, like, you have Augustus, right? The first emperor.
Yeah.
And how, I mean, he won in the end, like he became the first emperor opposed to like Julius Caesar and everything. But then like he seemed to spend the rest of his life trying to make sure he had a proper heir that would run it. And then he ended up with Tiberius, who he didn't want. And I think he said as much. Tiberius, you're the new emperor. I don't really want you, but you're the only one left. And I mean, you went from Tiberius, who was problematic, and then you had Caligula.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like for all Augustus, who's really good.
Kevin, maybe he should have picked a woman.
He might have picked a woman, I'd say. But his wife, I think, and I can't remember, but his wife was meant to be like legitimately very capable. And especially because like in Roman history, they seem to have a common theme of the like vindictive wife. And yet she was very good. So I'm like, oh, she must have properly been good because, yeah. But either way, I mean, there is a problem just with what you're saying because Jim Beardface, I mean, he has his own news network and podcast going that you got questions from. They are definitely into those elections. They are definitely getting us some.
Of course, yeah. Biggest thing to happen.
You could end up with all your good work quickly being undone.
I mean, my best.
It's going to be really annoying if they do get elected because then people will say, what about the time they blew up 74 factories? And they'll just be passed off as, but he can tell a good pun. And but yeah, so you think you tell your people, look, when I'm gone, I'm not going yet, but when I'm gone, we're hitting the democracy button. Advisors will sort that out. Yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
That's what I'm telling people.
Amazingly, Mrs. or I'm just Mrs. / Gillian, as I come out of that at Rock Harbour. I'm pretty sure so far you're the only person who hasn't murdered anyone. You're one of the few people who took going to war to mean, going to war. Other people thought it was a propaganda war, pillow fights, sausage eating contest. Yeah, you went straight for right. Who do I go to war with? Well, these people aren't trading with us, so we're going to sort them out.
So I told you at the beginning, we said we have hard and fast rules, but within inside there's lots of freedom. Yeah,
you do follow. When they say World War III, you go, right, well, let's do it properly.
All right, that's what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We have to do it. But cool. So that is, I would like to think, the very successful reign of Mrs. of Rock Harbour / Island, which may be a movie in the future.
I want to go to there.
Right? It's quite nice. It
was fun.
I mean, I think the biggest issue with it is there is a unfortunate strong underbelly of, so not even just toxic masculinity, but like male terrorism going on. But that might weed out. I mean, in general, the country seems to be going well. Even the IMF stuff was quickly sorted.
I think that, there's this thing where we swing from one side to the other. So as we swing from toxic masculinity to women exploring their strength and their leadership, there's a bit of a backlash and a what do we do now? Yeah. And we're gonna, I think, even if that were something, in the future, we see lots more females in leadership, and we start to see a swing of, greater than 50% in most industries where women are in charge. We'll probably start to see a bit of that backlash and then kind of swing back and forth. And then we're probably looking at 200, 300 years where that sort of thing doesn't happen. On that note,
on that heartwarming note, I honestly did not expect this to get. I didn't expect a Men's Day terrorist running around your country. I didn't
anticipate that either, but I'm gonna do my best. Smile and nod, boys. Smile and nod.
I thank God I didn't go fully in. Like I just went off the rails. I'm sorry, but yeah, I hope that's not a recurring theme. Anyway. Thank you, Gillian.
Thank you. It's been a joy. It's been a delight. Thank you very much. My
Gillian,
cheeks hurt from smiling.
Thank you very much. Gillian Fritzsche, and I'm going to end the podcast. I still haven't figured out an outro for this. So I'm just going to say goodbye.